Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. Right, I'm definitely not gonna try to record this again because the weather. So this is the third or fourth time I'm trying to do this start, and that's gonna be whatever it's gonna be. So because it's a little bit of a confusion, so see if I get this right this time. The car 2013 Chevrolet Orlando with the 2.0 liters, with the 2-liter diesel engine, and this is basically a Vauxhall, GM, Vauxhall, Opel, whatever you want. And guys, so what the issue is with this is the following. Apart from the Christmas tree, as you can see, I do believe all the lights here are related. So engine, steering, ESP and spanner lights, I do believe all these lights will be fixed all at once. That one for the parking sensors, I'm not really sure. He never mentioned nothing about that, so might be that we're not going to touch that. I don't know if it's related, I much doubt, but you never know. So what's the issue with this? Right, so the initial issue with this car, so I was told by the owner, was that the car would randomly would start to jerk, or jittering, whatever you want, and then would stop. This is an automatic gearbox. This is the automatic gearbox, and apparently the gearbox, this came from another garage by the way, and apparently the gearbox has been removed and sent to repair. They got the gearbox back, put the gearbox back on the car drove fine for a couple of months and then started to do the same again, and they sent the gearbox back to repair again. When the gearbox came back, they put the gearbox back in, and they were left, one, with all of this that was not here before, and second, what this thing does is, if I engage the reverse and take my foot off the brake, accelerate, the car just reverse, goes fine. When you put it on drive and I do the same, try to go forward, it really feels like the car is sleeping. I can't really do it now because I have, maybe just a bit, because I have the laptop on charge, but I should be able to go, let me take this from here. I should be able to kind of show you a little bit. So reverse, I'll try to show you this. Okay, so it drives fine. When I try to go forward, seen this? Look, let me show you this. Should be fine. So forward, look at my RPMs. Oops, I'm gonna do some mess if I carry on doing this. Anyway, literally, when you try to go forward, it looks like the gearbox is just sleeping and is not really going. And you keep accelerate, and eventually the car starts to move, but it takes forever to actually move. And even when it's actually moving, it still looks like the gearbox it is sleeping. So that's the issue. I rang the guy. When the guy brought me the car, I spoke with him. He never told me that, but I rang him afterwards, and he said, I've asked him exactly, or if he knows exactly what they did to the gearbox, and they said the second time they did some refurbishment again, but he said they changed something else inside the gearbox, and I think they changed the module inside the gearbox. I'm not sure which kind of gearbox this is, but the reason why I'm saying this is because of this. So let me show you this. I already did the scan with the MaxiSys, but the MaxiSys was giving me some codes that they didn't make a lot of sense. So because the MaxiSys is so out of date at the moment, I just thought to grab this quickly, and I'm going to show you quickly here. I'll just do the scanning. Enter there. And we're just going to do a quick scan with a report. I think it's that one in there. There we go. So we'll let it to do this report quickly, and I will show you what I think the problem is. It will show you the DTCs on this report anyway, so I don't need to go and read the DTCs first. And we are going to analyze quickly this report, and I will tell you what I think the problem is, as you're going to see quickly. And we'll see if we can get this done, not with this tool, but will have to be done in a different way. As you can see, there is loads of modules with codes. So the triangle one is the ones with faults, the green tick is the ones with no faults, and the ones with that sort of red with the cross is modules that the tool did not communicate with, which usually means they are not installed. So here we have the report, and as you can see in there, that's the VIN number, Chevrolet Orlando 2013, blah 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 blah, with the 2-liter engine, LBN code. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this down. So engine control module, so that's how everything is laid down. Engine control module in there, then the identification, then the DTCs, and a lot of the codes here are this: invalid data received from transmission control module, blah 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 blah. So a lot of codes like this, but we're going to ignore the codes on the engine ECU for now, because I don't think my problem is here. So we're going to come all the way down quickly to fuel injector doesn't exist, and then transmission control module. Let's going to look at the identification of the module. No VIN number, date programmed, not recorded. Code P0602, control module not programmed. So, and then as we're going to go down, electronic brake control module, there is VIN number, everything's okay with this module, and it reports the fault, lost communication with transmission control module. This ignition cycle passed and failed. I don't think this means he lost communication. I think it just means there's something wrong coming from that module, and because it's not programmed, and I think that's what is causing all these faults. So obviously the acceleration sensor doesn't store the VIN number, but then all the other modules, they have the VIN numbers in there. Everything programmed in 2012, just before the car was released. Okay, again 2012, the instrument cluster. Anyway, there's no point now to look at the rest, because I do believe all the majority of the codes are related to. And then on the park assist module, it says no codes, but we have the light on, so I'm not really sure. Is that related to the gearbox as well? It won't surprise me. I don't know, guys, but the first thing we're gonna have to try to do, as you can imagine, is sort these out. Okay, so let's try to program this somehow, and yeah, see if we can fix it. Okay, completely unrelated, kind of, but that day I literally couldn't do anything. As you can see, the laptop I usually use for service box is in this state, because I came to use it last time on the Astra, I think, perfectly fine. Came that day to turn it on, and the laptop didn't turn on. A little bit of investigation, and there is a completely dead short on this motherboard somewhere. The power supply to it, which is there, when I put the power supply in there, the power supply shuts off because of the short. My bench power supply does not turn off, obviously, but it pulls about 6 amps. When I initially did it, was a capacitor somewhere, can't even remember anymore where it was, capacitor here somewhere, that started smoke, and I thought, okay, problem found. there's a short on that capacitor. Replaced the capacitor, made no difference. And to be honest with you, that day I ran out of time. This laptop had already a couple issues, was broken here on one of the hinges anyway. And I just thought, you know what, I spent about an hour on this, and I thought, you know what, for about 12 quid is how much a motherboard costs on eBay. I already bought one. I just thought I'll get another motherboard, and I'll put the laptop back together just if I need it for something else. In the meantime, I was a little bit on a rush. I just went and I bought from FacePay. I just went and I bought another laptop. That's going to take me out of trouble today. So I moved the hard drive from that one to this one. The motherboard for that one should arrive today. I just didn't want to spend more time on that thingy. The motherboard should arrive today, so we'll put that together today. In the meantime, I already did a little bit of work before I start recording. And the main work I've done really was this. Get hold of the password or pin code for this car, purely because I'm gonna guess that this is gonna be very similar to voxels, and if you want to program any module that is part of the immobilizer system, you're gonna need the pin code. I don't think the gearbox on this particular car is part of the immobilizer system, because otherwise most likely the car won't be driving or starting, I would say, with the gearbox unprogrammed. But if we come to the point where we need to program the engine ECU as well, or update the engine ECU as well, or any other module, we're going to need the pin code. At least Vauxhall asks me for that. I'm going to guess this is going to be the same. So just in case we got hold of that information, as you can see here again, so got hold of the pin code using the IM608, and now yes, we're going to turn on the service box laptop, get everything ready, pay for I think it's 2 hours as well, subscription, and get this going. Okay, here it is, service box. I'm logged in, and I already paid for the subscription. As you can see there, tells me to go to documentation. I literally just finished the payment. So if I go here and I go to Chevrolet, come on, there we go. So there we go. So it tells me I have a Chevrolet Europe, the C-SPS02 vehicle programming software, SPS, valid from 2. Obviously, until I get deactivated, the timing doesn't start counting. So if I could buy a subscription today and use it later on, whenever, and until I press this SPS programming, which is what's going to open SPS and then allow me to do the programming, that just stays there until you activate it. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to go around, make sure I have everything ready, because I don't want to waste any of the time of the 2 hours, even because after my last experience was not a very good thing when the laptop wouldn't work and I had to go and reinstall Windows all from scratch. This laptop worked absolutely fine last time, so fingers crossed it's going to work fine this time. But I just want to make sure, you know, battery is connected properly, charging and all that good stuff before we start this. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And that's it. I might just take you through bits and bobs as we go along. But all it is now is just select modules and select programming and let the SPS do its thing. And that's it. There's not rocket science. It's just progress bars moving across. That's it. There's nothing interesting there, but I might show you a few bits and bobs as we go along. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. Make sure everything is okay before we start, so we don't need to mess about once I press that button in there. Okay, and looks like it's working. And once you install all the prerequisites necessary, which is just follow the screen, press next, etc, etc, let the system to do everything it requires. This is where you land. I'm using, as you can see, the J2534 from Hotel, which is connected here, and this is your main screen, and from here there's only 2 selections that you can do. So we're gonna press next, and now press next again. So we're gonna go Chevrolet Europe, This is a 2014. Let me confirm. And it's actually a 2013. It looks like it's not very. Yeah, there we go. So this is a MPV or passenger car? Yeah, it's a passenger car. There we go. It's the Orlando. Okay, so ignition on. Ready to communicate with the vehicle. Let's see if I didn't turn off. If I didn't turn on the key too late. I have to redo this thing. Hope not. Either way, guys, from here is just, there we go. So detected the VIN. Okay, we're gonna press just next. And now from here, guys, it's self-explanatory. You select the module you want to program, and you just follow the screen. So I'm not gonna take you through this. Now at this point, and as I said, with the pin code, I can program pretty much any module that does have a update. Sorry about that, guys. I'm a little bit poorly today. As I was saying, so from here, you can select any module you want to program. And as I said, because I already have the pin code, I can pretty much program any module that does have a software update. I think you can actually reprogram the same software. I believe you can, at least on Vauxhall I think you can. Here I don't know if it's all the same, but guys, there's always a risk involved. And I remember when I did the last Astra, I nearly messed it up updating the radio because the software failed to update a couple times, and it took me a few times until the update actually went properly. Otherwise I would have bricked the infotainment system. So I don't think I'm going to take too many risks here. I'm going to do the gearbox. That's all he asks for. That's all I'm going to do. So we're going to do that one, and that's about it, I guess. Well, maybe the PDC system, because it's giving some faults with no codes. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know yet. Let's gonna do this. I'm not gonna take you through this. Again, it's just follow the screen. It's not rocket science. So let's gonna go for it. Okay, so here is the first screen that tells me TCM programming. That's the current softwares in there. That's the selected ones, as you can see. Is definitely higher numbers, so there is updates for it, but look at the description that tells me in there. So we're gonna have to update a second module, because this update here is instructing me that I need to update the IPC as well, so we're gonna have to update that as well. But other than this, if I'm instructed to do so, I'm not going to update anything else. So at the moment, looks like we have 2 modules to update, so we're going to get it done and go from there. Okay, so here it is. Control module TCM programming successfully. And then when there is no mandatory or specific instructions, all you have to do is there, as it says in there, turn ignition off for 30 seconds to reset the controller, and then you press new, which we're gonna have to do to program the cluster. And the interesting thing is that I've just cycled ignition, 30 seconds, ignition off, and majority of the lights are already gone. Although I haven't started the car yet, but as you can see, we only have the engine light. Regardless of that, we're going to do as instructed previously, and we're going to do a reprogramming of Europe 13 passenger car Orlando. Let it to do his thing. Now, the key thing here is going to be, was the behavior of the gearbox a programming issue, or is still something wrong with the gearbox? That's something we're going to only find out when we test drive this, okay? Right, so let's going to go to IPC, instrument cluster. we're just gonna do a programming. That's all he asked for. We'll do the next. So I'm gonna leave exactly the same. So we're gonna leave exactly the same as it is. We're not gonna touch that. We're just gonna do next. There is indeed software updates. There's no other instructions here. I'm just gonna press next, and we're gonna let it to do its thing as well. Let me see how big this software is. Ooh, that's big. 20 minutes. Wow. Okay, let us do his thing. Oh no. Oh, that was quick. Okay, that was relatively quick. Again, in case of successful programming, please perform. In case of successful programming, please perform configuration and setup. Okay, that's gonna do the configuration and setup. Right, I'm gonna do all of these off camera because there's no point to be here doing this on camera. And I'll be back when we finish. Okay, cluster programming and configuration has been completed. Everything was successful. And now there's only one thing I want to make sure, which is that it should have been, but just make sure the VIN number has been written in the TCU. So at the moment I have IPC selected, which we just finished doing anyway. So just to recap the VIN number, 21693, there it is on the, this is the IPC instrument cluster data, okay, and then you have all the other data for the IPC, blah 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 blah, doesn't really matter. All I'm interested at the moment is that 21693. And now what we're gonna do is come down to my TCM, and we're gonna pull the ECU data, and as you can see, 21693. So it's been programmed, which is good. So all I'm gonna do now is give you a quick test. I'm okay to, so there's no communications taking place at the moment. We are just on the selection menu, so the software is doing nothing to the car, so I can unplug that if I want to, but all I'm going to do is just disconnect the electricals and start the car and maybe go just at the end of the road, see how he's driving, and then we'll go back into GDS just to confirm and maybe wrap up this video if this is all programmed okay. And as I said already, the key thing now is to understand if the problem with the gearbox was literally just the programming that was required, or if there's actually still something wrong on the gearbox. If there is still something wrong on the gearbox, then oh well, I don't know what to say. But interesting enough that the parking system as well, light went off as soon as the gearbox was programmed. Yeah, interesting to see how one module can influence so many things. Anyway, let's go and unplug the charger as well. Take the charger off, and let's see what happens with this. I'm really curious to know. Okay, let's gonna start this for the first time after the programming. Okay, only the engine light. I'm sure we can sort that later, I guess. Okay, only the engine light, so shall we try to understand why the engine light is on before we move on? Just in case if that might be putting the car in some sort of limp mode. Yeah, I think it might worth might worth doing it. Yeah, let's gonna do that. Okay, and while we're here, I'm gonna take you through this very, very, very quickly. So let's gonna go to modules. Let's gonna go to, actually before that, let's gonna go to transmission control module. See what we have. Trouble codes. Have any trouble codes? No, we don't. That's good. That's gonna go. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to engine, just see what the engine has for us, and then what do we have on the engine? Why is the engine not happy? 11 DTCs. Passed and failed. What? Nah, it can't be. Let's clear these codes. See if anything. See what happens. Okay, that's completed. Let's go back. Back, and what I want to do is what I've done last time. I just want to turn these off, leave for a few seconds. Well, I was reporting the codes as passed and failed. That's strange. Okay, ignition on. What I want to do is vehicle diagnostics. That's what I've done last time. I think it was. Let's do it like that. I think the top one would do the job. I think this does an entire scan to the entire car, and then we'll just yeah, it does the same thing as electronic brake module stored. So there is still probably a few codes from power steering. We're gonna have to airbags. I'm gonna have to try to clear all of these. So I'm gonna clear all these codes and then not bother with this, and then come back to see if there's any codes that comes back. If there's anything else that we need to do. Yeah, so on the report, as you can see here, like electronic brake control module or ABS, as you can see, is some of the codes that were there before, but they are all past, not current. They are all history. So a lot of these codes, they are there from before the programming. So what we're going to do is exactly that. We're going to delete everything, clear everything, and then do another retest. Okay, and after clearing everything, as you can see, the only alarms, if you will, we have is the ones that they don't exist on a car. Everything else is a green tick, and it keeps updating, as you can see. So what we're going to do is go back now. Okay, so let's get a cycle ignition, start this thing again. I think there is still a fault for one of the glow plugs, if I recall correctly. Let me see if that fault comes back. I think it was a code for a glow plug, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if it comes up now that I've started the car. But I'm not too worried about glow plugs. Where is the engine? Instrument cluster, DTC stored. What's that? I can't select that, can I? Air temperature sensor circuit. Oh well, too bad. I don't even know where it's supposed to show the air temperature. Not to bother with that. whatever, doesn't matter. So let's gonna go back, and now yes, let's gonna try, because if we do still need to program anything, we still have a little bit of time left and we can do it. Otherwise, if we waste too much time, then the 2 hours will run out and then we'll be out of time to do anything else in the programming side of things. So let's gonna try this and see how the car drives. Okay, and I can tell you here straight away, so reverse is doing what I was doing before, which is just, you can feel that the clutch engage straight away. There's no sleeping. When you go into drive, I can see here straight away is driving fine. The clutch is just grabbing fine and is going okay. So it's not doing that sleeping anymore where you had to accelerate and was just like sleeping for the car to move. Would take forever for the car to move. We're gonna go for a quick road test, obviously, and we'll see exactly what the car does. Okay, so let's gonna see how this works. See if the camera holds where it is at the moment. Is it attached to my chest, kind of? So, okay, so reverse is absolutely perfect, just as it was before. I don't feel anything different. Drive. Oh, beautiful. Second, third gear. Driving fine, absolutely fine. Downshift okay. I'm gonna go this way now. Second gear. Third gear. Beautiful. It's smooth, it's driving perfect, and the clutch is definitely, that was the main issue. And it looks like it was all to do with the fact that the gearbox was indeed not programmed to the car. So yeah, it looks beautiful, nice. Another one sorted. So I'm gonna drive a little bit around here, around the village, and then we'll be driving back home, ready to wrap up this video. But he's driving absolutely perfect. Okay, and he's driving absolutely fine. I just went for another test drive. I've just done a transmission service fast learn. It was really nothing wrong, but for some reason I could notice a little bit more the transition between first and second gear than I could feel on all the other gears. And I just thought, you know, I mean, it was absolutely no, I mean, to me it was okay, but I could definitely feel it. Maybe just be my OCD kicking in. I've done this service, I've just put it here so I can show you. It's transmission service fast learn. I've did that, went for another test drive. I don't know, might be just me. It looks slightly better. It looks okay now, but I would do that anyway because all the work that's been done on this thing. Just to recap, if you come now here, just to finish this off. So VIN number, date programmed 4/10/2023. So that's what we should have. That was not here at the start. And with these guys, we're going to wrap up this video, because in the end the car is fixed and everything is good and the car is ready to go. And in the end was just programming that was needed. So with no further ado, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video. I hope there's something here you can find useful. Hope you learned something. If you do still have any questions, any comments, you know exactly how it works, just put it below. And like always, thanks for watching.